Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we have some updates for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we're also going to be talking about the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order because the title of the game has finally been revealed, so no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to start with the Kenobi show, and as you're probably aware, the press tour for the series has well and truly kicked off. Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Moses Ingram and Deborah Chow were here in London yesterday, and each one spoke about their role in the series before the three actors appeared on BBC's The One Show. Now, a lot of what was said were things that we as fans who've been following the news for the show for a long time have already heard time and time again, but there were a few brand new tidbits, and those are the ones that I want to speak about. So let's begin with Moses Ingram, who opened up about playing Reva, the third sister. So when speaking about her personality, she teased how brutal this Inquisitor is going to be, which lines up with all of the leaks by the way. In her own words, she told of how Reva is very ruthless and doesn't care about what people think about the way she does things. Moses said she'll cut people down, and I think she's going to get the job done, whatever it takes. And if you remember guys, one of the earliest leaks for the show stated that she's going to make a public display as a message that the Inquisitors do not mess around, and one such act that we're going to see Reva do is cut off the hands of local citizens who don't give her information, not to mention the hanging of the Jedi Nari. I've already covered this before, so then Moses goes on to talk about what lightsaber training was like, and she said there are muscles in the hand that you never use until it comes to train with the lightsaber, but she got the hang of it pretty quickly. And from some behind the scenes Instagram posts from well over a year ago, it seems pretty apparent that she's got a natural talent for it. So then moving on to Ewan McGregor, during The One Show, he spoke about John Williams and the process of creating the theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi. As we know, Natalie Holt is the main composer of the show, but John came back to score Obi-Wan's theme, and Ewan revealed it was recorded in Los Angeles, but unfortunately no one was allowed into the session. Thankfully though, Ewan had been linked to the live audio, and he describes what it was like to hear that theme for the first time. He called it a really special moment, and he was taken aback, and I'm sure like all of John Williams' body of work, it's going to move us fans to tears. And then Ewan reiterated what Natalie Holt said a week ago, that John Williams' biggest drive to return to Star Wars after promising The Rise of Skywalker would be his last involvement was wanting to write a theme for Obi-Wan, which he was not able to do in the original trilogy. Of course, Binary Sunset, the Force theme, was originally going to be called Ben Kenobi's theme, but George Lucas thought it worked better for Luke. And then of course, as a motif, it grew bigger than any one character. So this really was John's chance to close the book and complete the circle, so to speak. And while it's true that this is going to be an original theme, I'm sure it's going to also incorporate elements of various aspects that we associate with Obi-Wan throughout the years. I'm so excited to hear it, and we're now exactly just 2 weeks away. And one final hilarious tidbit for the Kenobi series is Ewan debunking many fan theories, which he calls, quote, mainly wrong. Talking with Associated Press, Obi-Wan Kenobi star Ewan McGregor broke down the secrecy surrounding Lucasfilm's latest project. And kind of like what O'Shea Jackson Jr. said last year, Ewan McGregor went online, watched some YouTube videos, saw some threads, and kind of got a consensus of what Star Wars fans are saying about the series, and he found it really funny to watch, noting that, quote, most of the theories are completely wrong. And he kind of implies in this interview that a lot of what we see in the trailer is misleading, so while we think it's going to be one thing, there are likely going to be many surprises to come. In the same interview, he broke down having to keep his return to Star Wars a secret, but he gets great joy in knowing the fans are in for one hell of an experience. Now, I will admit it is quite funny to see Ewan this connected to the fandom, and while he might not be very familiar with Star Wars lore itself, he is a die-hard Star Wars fan, and it's kind of hilarious to me that he went out of his way to go look for this content. But I am curious, what is the show hiding? And we know that Lucasfilm and many production companies these days deliberately mislead with their trailers. They use a lot of ambiguous footage, but there are really some big secrets within. At least, I hope that's the case. And one massive prevailing theory that fans have is that Qui-Gon Jinn is going to appear, and of course that was included in the Making Star Wars leaks. But who knows what else is going to be in the show. I've always said I hope this is going to be prequel fan service to the max. Deborah Chow knows how much this project means to Star Wars fans, not just the fans of the prequel such as myself, but also original trilogy fans. Just because you didn't necessarily grow up in the prequel era doesn't mean you're any less connected to this character. But with that said, we've really got the prequels on our mind when we talk about this show, not just in terms of Hayden and Ewan, but in the timeline this is chronologically the next step after Revenge of the Sith, 10 years later. And Hayden has bulked up like a motherfucker. Ewan is looking and sounding great. Bring on May the 27th. And so now guys, it's time to talk about the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, and it's finally been given a title, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. As we know, Star Wars Jedi is the sub-franchise, and this one is called Survivor. I will be talking about the meaning of the name and its implications, but first of all, let's talk about the original post by Bespin Bulletin. This is something they've been holding off reporting on for a very long time, so it's great to see them out there posting this and everyone's talking about it. Over the course of a number of weeks now, video games journalist and insider Jeff Grubb has been teasing the title of the highly anticipated sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and he stated that if somebody guessed it correctly during one of his live streams, he would confirm it, and that seemed to have happened. During the latest episode of Grubb's Giant Bomb show, a viewer correctly guessed the title as Jedi Star Wars Survivor, which Bespin Bulletin can now also confirm, and they were told a number of weeks ago, nearly a month ago now, but they did not have permission to share it. Survivor is set to be released next year on next generation consoles only, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And even though there is no panel dedicated to the game at Star Wars Celebration this month, all of the leakers are saying it's going to be a surprise announcement. So at Celebration in a couple of weeks' time, we might get an announcement and some kind of teaser trailer. The game will continue following the adventures of Cal Kestis and the Mantis Crew, who in the last game gained a new addition, Night Sister Merrin. Now while the plot is largely unknown, the name Survivor is certainly worth discussing. The title is fitting in many ways, but the one that stands out to me is that a major theme throughout the first game was Cal Kestis' guilt of being a Jedi survivor. It's also a term used in a key line in the game once Cal and Merrin meet. Jedi and Night Sisters do not travel together, but survivors, we adapt. The title could also be hinting at the fact that we will come across more Jedi who survived Order 66. And while the fandom will have a multitude of opinions of which Jedi should show up, Yaddle was name dropped in the first game, and considering she only died in Legends and is still alive in canon, they might continue her story or perhaps come across her in the game. Or they could give us new Jedi altogether who we've not met yet, but who were survivors of the Great Jedi Purge, and it could connect to the Kenobi series or other shows coming up. Now the irony of Jedi Fallen Order is that it was one of the best told Star Wars stories of the Disney era, and it was a video game, and I hope that's going to continue in the sequel because there's so much content that could be drawn upon and that could connect to the Disney Plus shows. But let's just wait and see what happens. In either case guys, the game is called Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Are you excited? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to be playing this game, and when it does come out, do you want to see me cover it? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts of this and everything we spoke about in today's video. If you enjoyed this one my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and a massive welcome if you are. And if you want more videos that you can't find here on YouTube, then why not click the link down there in the description. But until the next one my dear friends, may the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg, have a good one.